What's the time? It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, it's 2 o'clock in the morning now. It is 2 o'clock in the morning British summertime. Let me see. Where's my headphones? There they are.
No, hang on a second.
Okay, can you just speak into that sticker there?
Hello.
Right, you don't need to be that close, but that's fine. That's perfect. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
And then they're gonna be placing asteroids. Now I'm gonna quickly change that camera. It's getting a bit laggy because it's so full of noise, and it looks like Andrew's taken initiative.
Hooray.
So yellow player initiative. Oh, change that. That should be saying the final. We are on the final table. And we're gonna get rid of that. Oh no, I got something else. I think let's do this. Did I do it? Did I get lazy? I got lazy. Yeah, I got lazy. I didn't make a special tag for the final. So.
Oops.
All right. What I've got to do then is I've got to go. Deactivate the timer. That one. And we're just going to move that one across a little bit so it doesn't look so ugly. Stuck in the corner. Right, tell us who you are.
Hi guys, I am Kai. I've been talking rubbish all evening as Forex Ironclaw in the chat.
Right, okay.
I was taking part earlier. I had 2k wings, but that didn't go too well.
Okay. Did you? How did you end up in the Swiss?
I don't know what my final position was, but I wound up with 2 wins and 4 losses.
2 wins, 4 losses, right, okay.
So
bad.
Yeah, lower table. Yeah, bad.
Yeah. It's not as bad as my regional performance, so don't worry about that.
I'm going to blame it on sleep. I've been awake since 6 o'clock Thursday evening.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I work nights.
All right. So, we're getting ready for this train wreck of the final.
U-boat smash.
Two U-boats lists. Slight differences between them, but not really that much anyway. We got one of them with Boba Fett and proton torpedoes, whereas all of Andrews are plasma torpedoes with overclocks and a full on one of them to be extra mess up things for the enemy. We can see the one carrying Boba Fett is the one marked with a yellow token. He's just, oh wow, look at that. Which is the one he's just placed. The one with the overclocked is the one that's in the middle, and the one with the R4 agromech is the one at the bottom of the image at the moment. And in the case of Andrew's deployment, the forlom is the one in the middle of his formation. Right. So we just saw James face off against. Oh, well, we didn't see it, but we heard James face off against Scott Reed in the semi-final, another U-boat list, and the match was over in 10 minutes. So we're assuming we're going to be seeing something similar.
Quietly hoping for it, maybe?
A little bit. Well, I'd rather not have a match that lasts 2 hours, but
well, yeah.
who knows? We'll just wait and see. And here we go. Wow. 70 spectators. It's really dropped up. These late night tournaments are just not worth the trouble.
Courses for courses. I'd still watch them, but
we had in the final for Madrid. I think it's also got a lot to do with U-boats.
Yeah,
definitely. People aren't interested. U-boats. Okay, see you later. The final for Madrid, we had 250 people watching.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, and that was really good numbers. And I know Spain's got a very high level of community. I can't even talk anymore. But there were also a lot of American viewers and international viewers watching the game as well. So,
yeah.
So when we were talking earlier, when we were talking about dice cameras and that sort of stuff, one of the things I think is pretty obvious from looking at the stream that I've set up is that there's a certain attention to trying to do things better.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the cases in the Twitch streams, you see a lot of them use, for example, for the hull and shield, they might write S's or put a number and change it as it goes on. Whereas my one is something that's able to change instantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Just clicks.
and when you get down to half whole points, adds up the points.
Ah, bonus.
Yeah, so things like that. I'm just talking about the extra effort I've made. So when we talk about a dice camera, and a dice camera, I actually had the idea of doing a dice camera when I first started streams in June last year,
Right.
and nobody had done dice cameras back then. It was when Fantasy Flight did them in November in the Worlds that everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. It makes me feel bad because they're my bases. When Fantasy Flight did it in November, and then suddenly it showed up everywhere. But the thing is that I wasn't quite happy with the way Fantasy Flight did it. Not to say that they thought they did it bad, but I thought that there was a more efficient, or what's the word? It's coming. The Spanish word is coming to me, and I can't quite get it out of my head to get the
I
English
don't know
word.
enough Spanish to translate.
No, yeah, eficazmente. It's not. It's like saying efficient, but
Okay.
slightly different sense as well. And so what I've actually got, and I've actually got it made and ready, but it messed up on me when I took it to Madrid. Not the actual thing, but the software I need to be able to do it is beta,
Right.
and it wouldn't stream when I got to Madrid. It wouldn't stream, and I had to go back to the old software and set everything up on the fly for all the advancements I'd made since February was the last time I used the old software. And then I'd spent, like, since Store Championships finished at the end of February, I'd spent 2 months working on this new thing, and then got to the first regional and it went out the window. So,
Bad times.
but what it is, it's basically what I've done is I've got with transparent plastic, I've made a kind of trench.
Okay.
Okay, so they've got so where they are right now. For example, we're looking at James's bum.
It's a lovely.
On to James's right and to the left of Andrew, there would be this trench that runs the entire length of the playmat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with a plastic wall furthest from them quite tall, maybe about 30 centimeters high, and a plastic wall closest to them, maybe quite short, maybe about 10 centimeters high. Reason for that being is that they're there, so when they throw dice into it, they don't bounce out the other end.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Then you've got in the middle a wall to separate the two. Okay, and the reason for making it the whole length of the mat is so it's the same distance from both players. Because when you've got one of those little dice dish, it always ends up being slightly closer to one of them, and someone has to reach to throw the dice in, can't quite see how it's come out.
Yep.
And putting the ball in the middle means that you don't have to worry about the defense. A lot of the time when people use that dice camera, they throw the red dice in there, leave them in there, and then someone throws green dice in there, the red dice get knocked about, and God knows what happens.
Yeah.
So the wall in the middle stops the dice from being bumped against each other. It's all separated. It's all in your section. You've got nothing's going to happen to your dice in your section that you don't want to. It's at perfect reach for yourself. And then what I do with that is I've got the camera above it using a tripod with one of these, an arm like a gorilla pod. You know, those tripods that's like flexible.
Yep.
Just sticks up like a dog, and then like a dog neck or something like that. And that looks down. And then in the new software, I cut that up so I can only see what's basically the footprint of that trench, and then that shows up like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Instead of being a great big square, which is what shows up on all the other streams, but I've not had the chance to be able to get it ready. I spent a lot of work into doing it, and then it all went out the window. And I was quite upset about that. I had a very bad day. The first day of the Madrid regional was basically, I think I almost got to tears at one point.
Oh, man.
And it was just like, no. Because one thing went so wrong, and then I had to go back and start doing other stuff. And then it was basically like, right, I have to try and do what I can with what I've got. It's kind of not really ready. It's kind of half set up. And then with all what was going on, all the distractions I had, I lost. I didn't lose, but round one of the tournament, round one's always sort of a game that kind of gets lost, because I'm sort of setting up still, getting everything ready, letting people know by Facebook that the stream's on, stuff like that. And the actual round one that was recorded on my table ended up being the exact same matchup of the final table.
Oh.
And it's a real shame that I don't have that whole match preserved in entirety because of the problems I had at the beginning of the stream. But it would have been perfect to have the exact same two players, the exact same, not the exact same result, but the same winner from that game.
Yeah.
And just to see that, like, first round, and then how you then got to think about the two different courses that those two players took through the tournament of 200 people to end up on the final table against each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a very interesting story. That it's a shame I've still got it. It's on the YouTube channel, but it's not quite in its original form. And the other problem was, with all the stress and all of what was going wrong, this old software is a bit funny with microphones, and just when you switch it off and when you close it and open it back up, it always resets back to the laptop microphone. So for
what a nightmare.
round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But all with terrible sound. I've got these. I've got this. The whole day I'm speaking like this. And to me, it sounds fine.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly was at the end of round 5. I turned all the microphones down because there was nothing really going on. And when they started speaking over the loudspeaker, there was a lot of noise.
Yeah, yeah.
Turned everything down, and I'm looking at this screen, and I'm looking at this here, which is always, even when we're silent,
It's always picking up something.
there's always something there.
Yeah.
And when I'm watching it, and it's about where we are now, but I've turned us down quite a bit. And then suddenly the organizer makes an announcement over the loudspeakers, and it goes bloom, bloom, bloom. And I go, how's that possible if the mics are all turned off? And I realise, bollocks. The problem is that when you've got that as well, even if you realise it in the middle of a match, there's nothing you can do, but to change it, you've got to disconnect the stream.
Oh, no.
So at one time I tried to do it while the stream was on, it went worse. So I've learnt that lesson. And that's basically the sort of, I don't even remember how I got onto that subject, but yeah, so everything went wrong for me in Madrid, and I had a very bad first day. And after the work I'd put in, that was a bit disappointing, to put it lightly.
Yeah, I know.
And so that the next advancements that I've got are probably going to be something that's going to be incorporated into the national tournaments, because obviously there's not enough time between regional tournaments to be able to start working on silly stuff like that. We've got damage going on. 2 damage cards.
He's going to return fire, so spending that focus.
He's got. I don't see shield. Oh no, he stacked them up. God damn it.
Yeah.
All right.
To be fair, that makes it efficient for as a player, but as a viewer,
it's very poor for the viewer. So 2 hits. Guidance chips.
Shenanigans with astromechs and guidance chips.
1 blank. 4 shields gone.
Ooh.
On that one.
This opening round of shooting was always going to be pretty savage.
And
the problem with the U-boat mirror match is it almost always comes down to, rather than being more skilled than your opponent, it's going to come down to who can manage to squeeze the most red dice out of these attacks.
Yeah, or positioning as well. Being able to make sure those arcs are concentrated.
Yeah, it looks like James has got much better positioning.
So we've got a hit and a crit going on.
You cannot perform actions, you can't perform actions.
A damage sensor array.
Oh, they're both damage sensor array. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's really clever. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
wow. Like I said, there's a certain level of detail I pay attention to, which is why I have to wait until I'm absolutely exhausted before I go to bed, otherwise I go mad. Coming up with stuff like that.
That's brilliant.
Well, what's interesting about that is that's actually been one of my pet arguments lately. Don't kill him, please. I want to see what happens. No, because when they announced that Gonk, you couldn't do both Gonk actions in a turn.
That wound me up.
I said, okay, if I've got 2 damage sensor arrays, and I get a free action from Lando, I can't get rid of the both.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a bit of a weird situation, and I understand where they're going from, but it's got another implication as well. And I said, well, the other thing is, I mean, you wouldn't know, but in the Spanish community, I'm quite famous for my love-hate relationship with Saboteur. and I said, are you telling me that my build with 2 Saboteurs is not going to work on the same ship? It's not limited. I can take 2 if I want. I can take 3 and put them on a decimator. Well, I've got an experimental interface. Yeah. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 2 Saboteurs on you. I don't care if you're at range 1. You've not got damage cards yet. I'll get you eventually. But then and they said no, it won't work because they're the same action. Okay, you can't do the same action twice in a turn. And I said, okay, so I get damage sensor array. I can't do any other actions. I get my normal action. I turn my damage sensor array down. I've got 2 of them, just like what just happened.
Yeah.
I turn 1 down. This is actually part of the Spanish community. I'm going on about it. It just happened, Marcelo. It just happened. You just got 2 damage sensor arrays. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact he got killed, what would have happened? He'd have been stuffed. So you spend your action to get rid of the first one, and then even if you get a free action from Lando Calrissian or from Aaron Kraken, well, you can't do that because it needs to be an upgrade card.
Oh yeah, of course it does.
That was the problem. Is that the other thing is that the X-Wing community is so nitpicky and that everyone loves being the rule lawyer on it. That the first thing I said was, oh, if I use experimental interface, and the first response was, instead of understanding what I'm trying to get at, it was like, no, you can't do that. Right. So it was like, all right, Lando or Aaron Kraken, and then the answers were wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, well, it's all well and good how you want to deny things, but when it's a real question, where are you?
Well,
yes, so there we go. This is going to kill me. Well, the problem with Gong was basically I don't know why they didn't treat it like a magic card or something where it says choose one of the following.
The thing is, there's precedent for that. You look at Miranda's pilot ability, for example. That's choose one or the other.
Yeah, of course.
And it quite clearly says or in big freaking bold letters.
Yeah.
So why they couldn't have done that with Gonk instead of listing it out as 2 separate actions? Because my interpretation has always been you're taking not the action of the title on the card, the action behind the action header.
Well,
if that makes sense.
It's difficult. It's difficult to know exactly because then you can do it's things like rage gives you a focus, doesn't it?
You assign a focus token.
Yeah. So basically, isn't that the same thing as taking a focus action?
No, assigning a focus token and taking a focus action.
Take a focus action is assign a focus token. And it's when we start to get into the real stupid end of the discussion. There's no real argument one way or the other. In truth, it's just the really silly little nuances that we've got in the rules that are always up in the air until Frank or Alex send an email.
Well, I'm not a huge fan of the emails either because not everyone has access to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't sit on the forums every day waiting for someone to post up this copy-paste of an email. So, the rest of us have to wait for FAQs.
Right. And it's dead.
Simultaneous fire.
Oh, yeah.
Simultaneous fire. Keeps it on the board. Those little weird things about that help you understand how the game works outside of the rules as written. Yeah, where these effects come from. Things like the other one. I was speaking to Nick Bond this morning because I like to be a bit troll about these things. And one of the ones was, okay, so Gunnar and Luke Skywalker say that immediately after attacking, you may perform a primary attack. Whilst other after attacking effects do not say immediately.
Okay.
So what's the reason for the word immediately there? And that's when you start getting into a whole other some people say, no, it means you should do them before. It's already dead for simultaneous fire. I mean, you should do them before your other after attacks, but you still get to do all the ones you want. Right, because that means that my gunner attack should be done before my tactician attack. My tactician gets applied a stress token.
Right.
Based on this ruling that the argument that was given to me that the immediately means that it's the first one I have to do. I can do them in any order I want, but the ones that say immediately I've got to do first.
Okay.
Right, so that means I have to do the gunner attack and then apply the tactician stress from the first attack and then a second one.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Yeah. So which would be important if the defender has wired. Because the second attack I'm doing with gunner is not having the benefit of the stress token that it would receive from the tactician.
Yeah.
Silly little things like that. That's what I'm trying to get at. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and he's still going on about it.
Yeah, you can't do two saboteurs because you can't do the same action twice. The same as you can't do a focus action twice.
Yeah, but it depends on whether or not this is the question: is whether or not the ruling on Gonk is basically saying that it's the name of the card that counts as the action.
Yeah, I think that's
or if
what
it's the
they're trying
text
to
of the
get
action that counts as an action. And I'm not saying that I go one way or the other. I'm just saying these are the silly little things that we're being faced with, and it's getting, especially with Wave 8, we've really gone into the weeds on it. That it's gotten to the point where maybe Boba Fett and Dengar need a whole page on the fact by themselves. Because the number of people, the number of times I've seen people say, if I get destroyed, if Dengar gets destroyed, can I still fire back?
Yeah.
But right, and then the simultaneous fire is but most of the people that are asking aren't asking about simultaneous fire. They're asking about if I get destroyed, I can fire back, can't I?
Yeah.
Because it's after attacking.
Has that been clarified yet, or have they?
Yeah, they've said that. Well, no, I mean, it's also quite obvious. But what I'm getting out there is that a lot of people don't understand it, and that's why there needs to be a FAQ on it. So what the truth of the matter is that for having been destroyed, when the number of damage cards assigned to a ship surpass its hull value, that ship should be moved immediately from play.
Yep.
Right, and that's actually part of the attack phase still. So you don't get to a point where it's after attacking because the ship isn't on the table anymore.
Yeah.
So you
Unless
can't
simultaneous fire kicks in, which is a whole
but everyone knows what simultaneous fire applies to. When we're talking about, but in general, a lot of people are asking about Dengar being destroyed. A lot of them are asking in all cases, rather than just being specifically limited to a simultaneous fire attack.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Still looking pretty close with a slight edge towards James.
Might get you out of the way.
Okay.
S loops for days.
Guys, you told me this game was going to be 20 minutes long. The orange one is the one that's got the overclocked R4, and the one with the Agramech is the dead one. And Boba Fett. Oh no, look, he's taken off the one that had Boba Fett on it, the yellow marker on the base. Am I right? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see if he moves that one. But I'm pretty sure I can see the top of the round thing on the base.
You don't roll along the arc to get range 2, it's range 1.
Oh, of course, no, you don't. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't see which one he's taken off. Can't see the base of the one he's taken off.
Yeah. I'll take a look. When that one moves, it'll be more certain. It's one of the reasons why I don't like when you only put one peg on the base. You don't get a good view of the ship token, the ship base.
I mean, it makes sense if you're flying ships that are larger than the surface
and
area
they fall
of the
off
base.
a lot, yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a fan of 2 pegs.
Yeah, I prefer 2 pegs. How'd that one? Whoa.
Oh, I can't see the crit.
It looks to me like it's console fire. At the start of each combat phase, roll 1 die.
2 hits.
Oh man, I felt really bad for what happened with one of the games I was looking over earlier. Like after they shook hands, I pointed out that since you had the console fire.
Yes.
I was
that game was actually played with several problems. So,
I waited and waited and waited, and I saw them shake hands. I was like, cool, yeah, great, game's over. Guys, if you've got Suntier, just
yeah.
Oh, you're going to rewind the game?
Dangerous.
Right.
Oh, no, you wouldn't believe. Talking about rewinding games and stuff like that, he's taken 3 damage cards on number 1 for Lom. We had the Spanish national team championship in February, and the first round of that, they thought the time limit was 1 hour instead of 70 minutes.
Okay, that's pretty quick.
So they played 1 hour. They played 10 minutes less, and I was doing, and it was on the stream table. So afterwards, I was doing the interview with the guy who'd won at the time. I said, so how come your other team members are still playing if time's up? Well, I didn't realize, I wasn't really paying attention to see if it was that. And he said, I don't know, the time was 1 hour, wasn't it? I said, no, it's 70 minutes. He went back and started talking to his opponent, and they started resetting up the game how it was, and played through the rest of the game to a different conclusion than it originally was.
Oh dear!
And so you can really see how things can go nuts sometimes. Sometimes people go nuts with the things.
I should have said to the guys, look, are you sure the game's over? You're absolutely 100% positive the game's over. Good. Here's the thing you missed. Just by the by.
And it's difficult as well. I mean, not to say anything as well, because and then what?
Well, yeah. You just can't say anything. It's just easier to not say anything.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought I was doing the right thing by waiting until
we're discussing this in the round, the quarterfinals, where I think Craig Reed was commentating with me about. I personally take it a bit more that the game is actually a game between 2 people, and if player A forgets his critical effect during 10 rounds, if player B hasn't called it on him, he's not got a right to suddenly call it on him, because it's been a fault of both of them. Whether or not you might turn around and say, well, technically it's cheating. I'm not saying it's intentional. It may have been intentional. I can't prove otherwise. But as long as both players have allowed the mistake to continue, then they've not really got much recourse to go back and correct. In my opinion,
absolutely.
In my opinion, there's several opinions on it, but that's my opinion.
Sort of comes under missed opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that the TO should have pretty much, or the judges should have pretty much minimal involvement in the game. It should be a thing with the 2 players in an agreement, and it's only when the players request judges' involvement that situation should change. Yeah. And that basically the reason for that is I'm trying to make the judges and the TOs work as minimal as possible. One of the things that happened in the number of stories I've got when in the Spanish national tournament last year. That was his console fire, and he's gone. Oh. So he had more damage cards than I thought he did.
There must have been.
So things are stacking up against him.
Maybe as a torpedo?
Yeah. In the Spanish national tournaments last year, in the top 16, we had B-Wings against 4 TLT Y-Wings.
Oh, that's a tough match.
And halfway through, just after having started the game, 5-10 minutes in, the judges realised that the B-Wing list did not have the asteroids specified on it.
Oh.
Rather than I'm not saying they did wrong or they did right in this aspect. I'm saying this was the decision that was taken.
Yeah.
Rather than disqualifying the player directly, they decided that it is the responsibility of both players to revise their opponent's list before starting the game. And if player A had revised the list of player B and had not realised that the asteroids were not noted, then both were at fault.
Yeah.
Okay. And the problem after that was that they into a different realm, and they decided that the game would run under a sanction where the player who had not marked his asteroids would receive a 50-point sanction. Oof. Now the problem with that is, and what I was saying earlier, when they were asking for how much MOV when they were trying to work out how much MOV they had in top 4.
Yeah.
I said, the MOV don't make no difference. It's elimination. You move on, and the other one goes. Yeah, but the standings at the what difference does that make? You're not going to get anything extra. And
I was bragging rights, isn't it?
I don't really know if it's even that much. But then they had so what happened was he actually ended up beating the enemy list.
Right.
But because in the last round the Y-wing list, the last firing round, the Y-wing list took out 2 B-wings that ended up being more than 50 points direct hit.
I think that's game.
Major explosion.
No damage though on the major explosion.
So he's down to 2 hull points.
He's down to not very many. Simultaneous fire, I think.
Cool.
There we go.
Yeah, Andrew wins. Excellent.
There you go. U-boats champions of
nice work, Andrew.
Of the Birmingham Regional pre-Yavin, the prelude to the Yavin. So just to finish what I was saying, so the guy playing B-wings won the game, destroyed all 4 Y-wings with TLTs, but as 2 of the B-wings were destroyed, ended up totaling more than 51 points. The game was given, because of the 50-point sanction.
Oh God.
The game was given to the Y-wings, even though there were no Y-wings left on the table.
Oh, that seems a little bit...
It gets a bit more complicated. I mean, that's the point. It's an elimination game. Points don't count.
Yeah.
If he'd have gone to time, then of course, point you wanted to give a sanction for points, go ahead. But if he wipes out the other squad, there's no rule. The rule says when the squad gets wiped out, 200-0, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so I'm going to get the interviews quickly with the 2 finalists, and we'll be on our way home.
I won the last 2 games without initiative.
Yeah, I've got my second wind in now.
I suppose, yeah. I thought they were playing 100.
They were.
But the roll was...
Yeah. Interview? Yeah, what's it?
Okay, hello James.
Howdy.
How was that for you?
3 jump masters, there was 3 jump masters, we just ran at each other and shot each other.
Yeah.
It literally comes down to the end, it's just pure luck.
Yeah.
So what crits you draw?
You pretty much had the same sort of situation in your top 4 match against Scott. And that match ended in about 15 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, so
basically, when it comes down to overclocked, for me, if you're running 3 overclocked, for me personally, if you roll 4 hits, it's a travesty against me and it shouldn't be happening because you don't have the exact same modifications as Alpha Agromech.
Yeah.
So I'm putting 4 hits down, you should be putting 3 or 2 hits down.
Yeah, of course.
That didn't happen, you got 4 hits, numbers went against me. Essentially, he's getting the offensive and the defensive. I'm only getting the offensive.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what literally comes down to the dice roll.
Yeah. And I mean that's pretty much how it is, isn't it? It's a dice game at the end of the day. Anything you want to say?
But then, I thought that second turn, I thought you had trouble. Yeah, because he had 3 shots on 1, and I only had 2.
You do that?
Yeah. But him coming around the side gave me...
Yes.
So, the kind of is, he's coming around, he comes around and stresses.
So, we'll keep going. It is pretty much just a numbers game for you, isn't it? It's just a question of how things are going to run down for you. But the only other thing that you can use to leverage favour for you is, there's Andy picking up his trophy, is your positioning. And your positioning was quite good at the beginning.
Yes.
You definitely had your arcs concentrated, while he was a bit more spread out.
Yeah.
So there was definitely a large advantage there for you. But when the numbers just go so much against you, what are you going to be able to do? You can't.
Exactly.
You just can't stack up against.
When I slooped over him,
I
was about 1/4 inch out of a range 3 shot of one of his jumps. If I had that shot, I probably would have won the game.
Yeah.
And it's again, it's a numbers game. I think that's poor judgment on myself. I mean, I had to go over him, and I did.
Yeah.
Got the action, which was obviously massive. But yeah, in the end, it was to begin with, it went really, really well because I took one of his off, and he had the initiative. which was massive in my favour. But then it just turned back, and his started turning on 4 hits, 4 hits, 4 hits.
Yeah.
I had to do primary weapons rather than munitions. I got all my rockets off, which is massive in this game, apart from one, which obviously he died at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it really comes down to he got 6 missiles off, I got 5.
Yeah.
And I think because he's shooting first.
And that's what makes them go pop.
It makes them go pop.
Yeah. Thank you very much, James.
No worries.
Right. You're going to be competing tomorrow, aren't you?
I'm indeed.
Yeah, the same list?
Same again.
Okay. I'm sure I'll be seeing you again then later.
Well, fingers crossed. I mean, matchups are providing.
Yeah. So I mean, well, as it's gone through today, you've gone through 10 rounds to get to the final.
Yes.
So I mean, it's obvious that it's a list you control well, and you've got the ability to be able to take it up against a variety of enemy lists. So good luck with tomorrow. I'm sure we'll see you. If there's anytime you want to pass by here, you see I'm not busy with anyone else, and you want to let us know how things are going for you, let me know.
Yeah, awesome,
okay,
man.
Thank you.
Right, thank you very much.
Turn you up. Right, congratulations, Andy, on regional champion Birmingham 2016.
Yeah.
You're not local to
here? I'm from Worcester.
Worcester. So how far is that?
About 45 minutes from here.
So not too bad.
Not too bad.
Pretty much your region.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent for you. Playing tomorrow? No,
No, I'm going to my wedding. I'm
doing a bunk.
So
yeah,
doing a bunk.
We had you. You've been on the table 3 times today already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, so, I mean, basically I'm speechless now. It's got to the end of the day.
I would imagine
I'm knackered.
When you're sat here with, a regional champion, you should be speechless.
Yeah, I mean, you've done very well. And that's been obvious.
It's been awesome.
Anything you'd like to say about the last game you had there?
I knew it would be hard. Obviously, he had smashed the 2 reads running similar builds to me. But it was a case of, I knew I'd have the initiative. And it was a case of setting myself up really early on to try and block off his moves in the middle of the board.
Yeah.
And so, it looked pretty much like turn 2, the second round of engagement, rather, that he had the upper hand because he managed to get 3 torps off and I only managed to get 2 off. But I had the 3rd coming round the side, and that proved to be like a really good blocker. Up round the sort of middle of the field, midway through the game. So I was quite happy with that plan.
Like that, midway through the game. It was about 20 minutes.
Oh, was it?
It wasn't really a middle.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm just joking about beginning and end.
But yeah, it was a good game. There were no real bad mistakes made by either side. It just really is the initiative, I think, with Jump Masters.
I mean, it's just so much dice being chucked around.
Yeah.
It's just they're just gonna end up sucking down damage.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's a shame we don't get to see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well.
But I hope everything goes well for you. And maybe if you've got Wi-Fi in the wedding, you can follow us.
I won't.
No.
But no, that's fantastic. And have a good night. Get some rest.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, and with that, everybody, we will say good night, and we will be seeing you in about 7 hours. Okay, so good luck with that. And I'm going to say goodbye. Until tomorrow.